I made a song and music video for a YouTuber and streamer's video contest a few months ago and eventually won in the process. Hi everyone, it's MrKoolTrix. I'm a music producer, video editor, and Geometry Dash level creator from the Philippines. I'll be walking through how the sounds were made for my KingSammelot song remix called What's This? You guys smashed the like goal on a music video requesting a breakdown of this song, so I'm excited to get right into it. Stick around later since I'll also show how I edited the music video. Alright, so I've wanted to make a dubstep / color-based type of sound for the song, and as shown in the music video, all the sounds are entirely made from the green screen videos that KingSammelot provided, including things like the drums all the way to the basses. So it's drum making time. I want to thank Disfing for making this video about drum sound design, since several of the tricks I'll be showing soon are based from there, which I'll link in the description. It's time for a kick. But actually, before we get there, I'll have to make an 808 bass.
But KoolTrix, aren't we making drums first?
Well, yes, I promise this is related. An 808 bass is mainly made of what's called a sine, or sine wave, which is the purest sound you can play as a note. It makes a curve like this. If you explore Geometry Dash's level editor, you may have encountered the word sine when moving objects. With a bit of setup, you see how these curves look similar? I'll have to find a way to get a sine wave from the KingSammelot videos. So I found a clip of him saying, filtered it down, and looped a small part of it. Boom, that's an 808! Anyway, why did I mention 808 basses before kicks? That's because while an 808 plays a sine wave as one steady note, a kick drum has the sine waves start high, then quickly sweep down. Kind of like a laser, but more subtle. Let's also layer the sound when he lands after the flip. Okay, we're getting somewhere. This might be pretty quick. Well, I played around with some equalizers and effects, so there's some trial and error and it took a little bit longer, but we got a solid kick now. Oh, almost forgot about something. Every time I add a lot of effects to a sound I make, I'll save it as a new file. This is something I do often for this remix, and it'll result in a bunch of new sounds that are so different from the original videos. You'll just have to wait and see. Next, I wanted to make one of those big claps you can hear in modern dubstep. But before we do that, let's start off small. This compact clap, when you look at it up close, is actually made of multiple smaller hits before the main one. And would you look at that? There is a video of Sammy dancing around while clapping. Let's sample that and string the claps together to make it similar to our reference. Then clean it up with some equalizers and effects. We got a cool sounding clap. Now, how do we make it sound big and spacey? Well, there's an effect that does that. Reverb. Hear that space? That's reverb. But instead of, well, this, it's our clap. Also, let's add a little OTT compression, a staple in electronic music. That is a big clap. Now, what even is that snare?
What even is that snare?
Dubstep snares. Usually known for being low and punchy, except in the fun cases where they turn into high plonks and dings. I've actually included both these types of snares in the song, but we'll first start with the low punchy one. The process for making a snare like this is a combo between making a kick and a clap. We got a quick attack of noise at the start, a solid tone in the middle, and then a noisy tail at the end. For the attack and tail, I can take the clap I made earlier and put it through some reverb so I can use that for the start and end. And for the tone, I can take the 808 bass I made for the kick, but tweak it a bit so that it doesn't go as low. Combine those with some effects, and we got ourselves a powerful snare. And now for the tiny one. Convexity already has a tutorial on how a small snare is made in detail, but to summarize what I did, I took the low snare, sped it up, cut out the tone a bit, then adjusted some effects. Tiny snare. Let's move on to the cymbals. So cymbal sounds are mainly made out of noise, and for the song I'm making, there are two main kinds of cymbals, the hi-hats and the crash cymbal. I wonder if there's a noisy sound I can work with from the green screen vids. Perfect! I'll take these swooshes and get rid of the low sounds. This sounds pretty good already, but let's kick it up a notch. Real cymbals are made of metal. Naturally, they would make a metallic sound. So effects like a really short reverb or delay can help recreate that metallic ringing. And that's what I did for the hi-hats. As for the crash cymbal, it's a much longer and spacier sound. So I just took one of the hi-hats and put it through some reverb. And what do you know, that's all of the drums done. Now we can move on to making some of my favorite sounds in the song, the color basses. But before we move on to the next section, I would appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe to the channel. I don't usually upload breakdown videos like this, but there's a lot of fun and silly stuff around here relating to music and Geometry Dash content. Any kind of support from you guys is always welcome, especially for the time spent scripting out and editing this video. With that being said, it's color base time! Now, this is probably the part that I had the most fun with, making super colorful sounds. There are a bunch of ways to approach this with music effects like resonators, vocoders, and reverb, used slightly differently. But for this video, I mainly use two effect plugins, Retune and a spectral compressor. What do these do, you might ask? Let's start off with Retune. Think of this plugin as auto-tune or a type of pitch correction. But instead of tuning only one note at a time, you can tune many notes at once. So that means you can take any sound and make it play a chord of your choice. Remember the clap that I put through reverb? Well, what if I take that and put it through Retune? Now we got a beautiful chord. This is where it gets exciting. Huzzah! You could put any effect or combination of effects before you put Retune, and you can get magical results. We got really nice sounding stuff by using Retune alone, but we can kick it up a notch. The spectral compressor. AU5 made a super comprehensive video about it, but in a nutshell, one of the main uses of this plugin is like a vocoder, where you can make one sound have the qualities of another. So for example, here's a short phrase from a vocal pack I made, "That's what it's all about, And I also have this bass. In this case, I want to make the bass sound like it's saying the phrase. So I'll mix them together with the spectral compressor and it will sound like this. That's what it's all about, That being said, what would it sound like if I combine KingSammelot's Screaming While Falling with the beautiful chord that I made earlier? Or maybe if I take a keyboard typing sound instead, then combine it with the chord. You could do so much with this method, it's absolutely wild. Especially when you combine a ton of effects, you could turn something that sounds like this into this. So that's a general process that I use for making these color-based sounds. Mainly some Retune, a spectral compressor, and a bunch of other effect plugins that help shape the sound. The last main element is the vocals. The videos for KingSammelot's contest are chock full of fun vocal lines. For example, he says stuff like,
"Hey, how's it going? Yo, bro, watch this!"
And let's not forget him and his brother saying,
"I'm in."
I did some effect processing to these vocals, and the main plugin that helps with variation is this frequency shifter. This is kind of the opposite of Retune, where instead of making harmony, a frequency shifter removes it. But I've used this effect pretty tastefully here to make the vocals sound higher,
"Yo, bro, watch this!"
or lower.
"Yo, bro, watch this!"
Now at this point, we got drums, an 808 bass, color basses and synths, as well as the vocals. I think we're now good to arrange the song. What you're seeing now is the actual project file for my remix. It also appears briefly in the final music video. Let's start with the drop, as everything else revolves around it. The drums I prepared earlier make their appearance. So we got a kick and low snare pattern with the hi-hats backing up the groove. Later on, I'd switch it up by replacing the snare with a kick and clap combo. Then later, it switches over to the tiny snare. For the 808 bass, I had a lot of fun making it slide and glide around while following the main chords of the song. And as for the color bass sounds, well, I stacked a bunch of them to make it sound full. There are also some small melodies I made with the falling video. I just took a small part of the screen for it. And there's a small nod to KingSammelot's song Jazzy Juice in the last part. I think it works pretty well. Now for the build in the beginning. I took the claps and filtered them in, and that's combined with reverb versions of the colorful sounds that I made earlier. There's also this riser sound that I made with the reverb clap. I used a frequency shifter to make the tone rise over time. And let's not forget about these energetic vocals.
"Yo, bro, watch this!" "I'm in."
With all of that and 3 days of arranging and mixing, the song is finished. But we're not done just yet. Keep in mind that the song is part of a music video, so the next step is to actually edit the video. Give me 1 second. Alright, this is the project file for my music video, or at least the main project file. There's another project that fixes some timings and adds more effects and transitions, but this project handles the main flow. The video is made with the music in mind, So for example, I combined a bunch of background videos for the first note of the drop. There are 3 circles expanding to match the 3 notes in the song. This underwater section is here because this part sounds watery, and so on. The combination of effects, plus the stock images and videos, really help tie the video together. There are a bunch of layers to this project, and it's quite heavy on my computer, so I ended up making some of the scenes in another project file. The table tennis and punching parts are in this project, and there's even another one just for the underwater dance because I wanted to add a diving helmet picture. When all of that's done, all of the scenes went into another project, this time with proper transitions between parts. By this point, it has been 4 days, and the original deadline was fast approaching, so I went and exported the final video, then submitted it to the forum. By the time the contest stream happened, I was asleep because of time zones, but I woke up the next morning to find that I won the contest. I ended up posting the music video on my channel, and I even asked KingSammelot if I could put my song out on streaming platforms, which he said yes to. Eventually, Sammy posted the contest results video, and over 3,000 likes were dropped on the music video, and that brings us to here. Wow, it's been quite the journey making this song and music video, and it's so cool to see all of the positive reception to both of them. Admittedly, this video took a long while to prepare, since I made a bunch of music and my Geometry Dash level Wonder Bop that actually got 17th place in the NCS Gauntlet results, which I'm really thankful for. But as you made it this far, I want to thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed seeing the process of how this remix was made, and it feels great to make a breakdown video like this. Once again, feel free to like and subscribe for fun music and Geometry Dash videos. Take care everyone, and have a great time!